For 3 years, one name owned business AI, ChatGPT. Then, in the spring of 2026, the spending data flipped. For the first time ever, more American companies were paying for Anthropic's Claude than for OpenAI's ChatGPT. The headlines called it a changing of the guard. But is the crown real, or is it already slipping? Let's look at the numbers. The flip comes from the Ramp AI Index. Ramp is a corporate card platform that watches how more than 50,000 US businesses actually spend their money. Not a survey, real invoices. In April, Claude climbed to 34.4% of businesses. OpenAI slipped to 32.3%. The first crossover since the AI race began. Why care about this one chart over all the others? Because it isn't a popularity poll, and it isn't a benchmark. It's money. Companies don't renew, month after month, for a tool their engineers won't touch. Sustained spending is the closest thing we have to proof of real adoption. And the speed is the real story. 3 years ago, Claude was a rounding error. 0.03%. A year ago, under 8. By April 2026, 34. By June, 41. Over that same year, OpenAI's business adoption grew by 0.3%. Anthropic didn't just win a month. It bent the curve. So what drove it? Mostly one product, Claude Code, Anthropic's agentic coding tool. It became the fastest growing product in the company's history, and it dragged the whole platform into engineering teams that used to default to OpenAI. In code specifically, the gap is stark. Anthropic holds about 42% of the enterprise coding market. More than double OpenAI's 21%. Back in 2023, OpenAI had half of the entire enterprise market to itself. Today its real strength is the consumer side, ChatGPT's hundreds of millions of weekly users, while Anthropic quietly took the developers. Adoption turned into revenue. Anthropic says it hit a $30 billion annual run rate, up from under $1 billion a year earlier. Roughly 80 times growth. On paper, that even edges past OpenAI's $24 to $25 billion. For a company most people had barely heard of 2 years ago, that is staggering. But this channel doesn't do hype, so let's read the fine print. There are at least 3 reasons Anthropic's lead may be far more fragile than that headline suggests. Doubt 1. The scoreboard itself. OpenAI's revenue chief reportedly sent an internal memo arguing Anthropic's $30 billion figure is overstated by around $8 billion. A dispute over counting gross versus net revenue. And a separate survey, from the research firm IDC, found only about 19% of companies use Claude extensively, where it still trails rivals on depth. Leading in how many companies try you is not the same as leading in how deeply they rely on you. Doubt 2. The compute bill. CEO Dario Amodi admitted the company saw 80 times growth in a year, when it had only planned for 10. To keep up, Anthropic has been resetting usage limits and buying staggering amounts of power. 5 gigawatts from Amazon, more from Google and Broadcom, even data center capacity tied to SpaceX. Growth this fast is brutally expensive, and the lights have to stay on. Doubt 3. Pricing. The same token-based pricing that fueled the boom is now a pressure point. A Ramp economist noted that one model update tripled the cost of any prompt containing an image. Awkward, when compute is already tight. Meanwhile, OpenAI is reportedly weighing aggressive price cuts. A price war could erase a 2-point lead overnight. So, did Claude beat ChatGPT? In the enterprise, and especially in code, yes. Right now, it leads. Anthropic changed who the default vendor is for a whole generation of engineers. The honest caveat is whether it can afford to stay on top while burning compute and fighting a price war. Strip away the hype, and here's what's real. Claude leads business adoption, it dominates enterprise coding, and its revenue genuinely exploded. And here's what's hype, that OpenAI is finished, that a 2-point lead is permanent, or that the revenue scoreboard is settled. Both things are true at once. Anthropic is winning, and the race is far from over. If you take one thing from this video, take this: watch the spending data, not the headlines. The default tool for business just changed hands for the first time. That genuinely matters. But in this race, the lead has flipped before, and it can flip again. So tell me in the comments, which one does your team actually pay for, Claude or ChatGPT? I'm the Shipyard, and I read the data so you don't have to. Subscribe for no hype AI news for developers, and I'll see you in the next one.